Alright, y'all, so I'm back. Y'all might be wondering why I'm wearing these pajamas. Ignore that. It's a nice day out here, so we finally made it to the end of this book, y'all. This book was everything. We made it to the end of the first book. The end of the first book ended where we didn't get a wedding proposal, but we got two spicy things at the end of this book. They got back together. Ava and Alex did get back together. Alex bought all the paintings in her collection, and it happened at the right time too. It happened after her program was over. So after she finished the FYP fellowship, he did follow her to London. He did stalk her until he was forgiven, and he did end up getting her back. So yeah, and then they end up going to Thanksgiving at Ralph and Missy's house. And Missy, I think I love her too. And we do get a glimpse of Bridget and Rise. So Bridget by the end of this book, we figured out that Bridget has become queen because her brother gave up the title. Like, her brother gave up being the king. So now she's the first female queen. And we get a scene where Ava suspects that Bridget is falling in love with her bodyguard. They was on the news and they was holding hands for a super long time, and she could just see the chemistry between them, and she said she gonna hold it for later as blackmail. But even though we didn't get a proposal, we got our favorite couple back together. For spicy scenes, we're gonna go with 10 out of 10. For makeup spicy scenes, we're gonna go 6 out of 10, just because it was a special moment. Alex finally sang, so Alex, he finally decides to sing so he can get Ava back. And it ended up turning out pretty good. Josh still don't forgive him, but they did get back together. He did stalk her through London. He did take her to and from the classes that she needed to go to. But overall, I gotta do an overall of this book, and I give this book, well, to me, of all the dark romance I read, this book is light. I like it. I think it's good for people just getting into the genre of dark romance. I think it's very easy. I think it's not as heavy. It's a little light on the material, but I can't wait to start the next book. But yeah, this is this book. So I give this book a 10 out of 10. I can't wait to see what the show is, because I heard they're making a show. But two of our 5 were right. Well, no, 3 of our 5 were right. She did go and explore London, and she didn't get back with Alex until after technically her program was over. So a year and a half. She was holding out for a year and a half. And we love that. We love that they got back together, though. I knew they were going to get back together, but I'm glad that they didn't spend the holiday. Now they on to another Thanksgiving. So they spending what would be their 3rd Thanksgiving together as a couple at the end. I think these two specifically should have gotten married, but I'm glad that they didn't at the end of the book, because it would have been too fast. Their relationship was just coming back as really their relationship, and not as like some plan to get revenge on people. Like the whole half of the book, or like the whole majority of the book, is him building a relationship with her, and getting close to her so he could benefit his own self. So it was cool at the end to see that he really loves her. He finally says, "I love you," which we got solid and "I love you" moment in this book. It was a little long, but I felt like it needed to be long because it needed to be Alex, very Alex, and it needed to be original, and it needed to be, and we needed to love it because it was coming from him. So, and
I'm gonna go get the book.
so yeah, Sorry, y'all. My dad was walking by. I'm about to head to the store. Yeah. Now he leaving, y'all. He on his way out. But yeah, this book was good. I could have finished it earlier, like I said, but I wasn't reading it with anybody. I was reading it with somebody, but she didn't end up finishing it. But I finished it. Let me tell you, it was worth the finish. The ending to me was worth the finish because we got to the basis of the relationship. We got covered what needed to be covered. And even though they're not married, they're just dating and living their happy lives. I'm glad that they're back together. I'm glad that this book didn't end on a note where we weren't gonna see the characters back together. I think that they ended this book well on another Thanksgiving. I feel like Thanksgiving is very poetic since she mentions how he used to spend Thanksgivings with the family for years, and now he's spending them with just Ava in their relationship. I think it's really cute. In Bridget's book, I think we're gonna get a little bit more of their story, but I love how the author chapters 41 through 43, because technically this book is 43 chapters, but anybody who read this book knows there's an epilogue and some more things. And there's a bonus scene, but aside from all of that, I really love this book, and I'm really glad I bought this book. And for the price, it was $11 at Target. Thank you, Target. For the price, it wasn't too bad. It kept my interest. It kept me even though it was a bit predictable, I will say this was a bit predictable. Everything that I was guessing that was finna happen pretty much did happen. Some things didn't. Most of my predictions were right though. So this book is very much predictable in a different right. But it's only if you've been reading fan fiction for as long as I have. And I've been reading dark romance since I was literally in middle school. So I can point out where the story is going, who's going to have the relationship, where it's gonna go. Even though I will say there were a few there are a few annoying things about Alex's character that even though I don't like them, they make them him. So he has to have those traits. I'm super glad that we got the opportunity to see Ava evolve from a very trusting to a very non-trusting person. I'm glad we get to see her learn that the world is not always perfect and it's not always good and things don't always go right, but it's also not all bad, and the pain comes along with the pleasure. And no matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much they hurt you, you're always going to love that person, you're always going to be drawn to that person, and you're always going to want that person. And I love that for the theme of this book. Sex scenes excluded, but including the sex scenes is very spicy. I like the sex scenes. I think they are much needed. But I like reading sex scenes. For people who don't like reading sex scenes, it can be a little cringe, but for me it wasn't too cringe. I've read worse, and I'm just glad that it wasn't the mafia type this time. This time it was the CEO. It was the CEO and the best friend's sister that falls in love with the brother's best friend. So we have an unorthodox love situation here. The best friend falling in love with the best friend's sister. So of course at first Josh wasn't gonna be okay with it. He wasn't okay with it at first, but he figured since Ava really loved Alex, then that's what it's gonna be. I was really hoping to see Josh and Alex repair their relationship at the end of this book, because I'm all about friendships and we're all about teams over here. We don't like to not be able to have the relationships intact that we built. But I'm glad that for at least right now, Josh is gonna come around on his own terms. This gave me a lot of different inspirations. Besides, no matter who you love, no matter how far you are, you still gonna be in love with that person. And also chase your dreams. Ava didn't give up her dream. I thought she was gonna give up her dream the second she saw Alex. She didn't give up her dream the second she saw him. She didn't let him come into her life and instantly just change everything. He did what he spent his time in the doghouse. He spent his time proving what kind of man he was to her, proving himself. He spent that much allotted time proving everything that he needed to prove to her. And I feel like in any relationship, when you break someone's trust, it's not about having the trust. It's about how you get it back. It's about how you restore the relationship to a better place than where you had it. And Ava taking time for herself, her not running back to Alex as soon as he appeared in London, her making him wait until she was ready. I feel like all of that was perfect. I felt like all of that was set in motion. I'm a girl's girl, so I love to see another independent woman doing her independent woman shit, photographer or not. She on her grind, and I love that about her. I was hella nervous, and I'm sorry I left y'all for a few days, but I just been tired and busy doing some other stuff, preparing some other content. So I'm just really happy that I finished this book. So now I can post my drink videos, and you guys can have a whole nother different thing with that. But I'm glad that I was able to do a book club review and do a read-along type of thing. Even though I didn't do a read-along type of thing with this, we just having drinks and talking about a book. I hope that you finish this with me. If you finished this before me, or if you finished this a long time ago, or if you've been read it, its reread quality is definitely good with me, because I'm gonna definitely be rereading this book. It's going amongst the rereads, but I like how light it is. I like that it eases you into it, and I love it. I love to say it. I'm a dark romance fan. I probably will always be a dark romance fan. And this book is definitely light than some of the others I read. And the only other thing I read to compare this is Haunted Adeline, which I will say that series is dark altogether. So this book was a good read, and it was light, not like a little bit of light. I feel like if you're on vacation, you want to sit down for a little 5 minutes, read a little 5 chapters, you could easily read a little 5 chapters and be finished with this book in like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If you wanted it, but I promise you, if you start reading this book, you're not gonna want to put it down. So you're not even gonna spend that long reading it, because you're gonna already be in love with the storyline. So you probably finish it earlier than I finished it. But I'm glad I was able to give y'all this content. I'm glad that I was able to come back and sort of establish a regular beat. So enjoy the rest of y'all's day, and I'll be back on my next segment. Check this book out.